Hey folks, welcome back to Dub Africa. This is Chris coming to you live from central Pennsylvania. Gee, long time no see. For those who were just on the channel just a moment ago with Laura Lynn Tyler Thompson. Wow, that was epic. Really enjoyed her. What you're seeing on the left there is Joe Emilio's studio, and there's Joe. He had to run out and chase down a mugger who was attacking people in the neighborhood. So Joe, now that you've chased the mugger out of the neighborhood, is it safe? You're on mute? Okay.
Cool. Yeah.
All right, Joe. Welcome back to the channel, man. It's been a while since you've been on, but let me see. I'm gonna switch this over real quick so we get a better view. There you go. All right, that looks a lot better. Anyway, so how's it going? What's up?
It's going good, man. It's going good. How are you?
Well, I guess I'm falling behind here. I'm gonna have to do the germ warfare sort of thing and catch up with you there. So I don't know.
I don't have a gun, so I can't.
Well, it's not a real gun. It's a toy gun. It's a pepper spray gun. It just looks real. That was.
Yeah, I saw you had a lady on your previous stream, and you were showing off your hat. So I thought, hey,
well,
why not?
That was just the end. I'd show off my. But I missed one of them. My Trump train hat isn't here. That's I moved it over somewhere else. So I don't know where I set that sucker at. That Trump train hat's awesome. Oh, there it is. It's here at the end of the table. Let me reach up. There it is. Ah. Here you go. All right. All aboard. Woo, woo. All aboard the Trump train, now departing from Decatur en route to Bakersfield.
When are you going to send me a hat, man?
Man, somebody asked that question in the last stream. I'm like, okay, you do know what is involved in this? You got to deal with the crooked immigration and customs services in South Africa. So I'll let the cat out of the bag. Somebody in South Africa asked me to help them get some caps, okay? And so I did. They paid for it. I paid the shipping. They reimbursed me. I paid for next day delivery, which costs like $300 US because the South Africans don't let anything in other than express mail because of their National Coronavirus Command Council lockdown, so you can't just send it by surface, which really doesn't go by surface. They just put it on a cheaper plane and charge you surface rates. So the bill was $300 to ship the stuff to South Africa, and it's been sitting in Cape Town for 2 weeks. They refused to let it go because now they demand an invoice. I sent that as a gift. I'm not a business. I don't generate invoices, so shove it up your bum because I'm not going to give an invoice because I'm not a business. And guess what? They're charging the recipient 35% VAT. For a gift that costs less than $50. That's disgraceful. Anything that you send to the U.S. as a business from almost like 7,000 goods and services is duty free. No duty. You pay nothing to ship your goods into America. Yet those turds in SANS, or what is it, the revenue service, SARS and South African Revenue Service, they are charging 35% for me to ship a gift to somebody in South Africa. You wonder what's wrong with South Africa? It starts right there, and it just the rot gets worse.
Well, I think I just sent you off on a bit of a rant there.
My face isn't pink yet, so when my face is pink, then you know I'm ranting. But maybe it is pink, and the bright red of the Canadian rugby jersey is offsetting the pink.
Oh yeah, by the way, the Canadian jersey, like I forgot to enter the show by going, blame Canada, blame Canada.
Well, what I wanted to do with my guest, because she's Canadian, I'm sure this would resonate with her because she's conservative, is I wanted to sing the Canadian anthem, Old Canada. And we got to the line in every one command, that's BS. It's in all thy sons command. Nonsense, Canada. Whenever I sing it at a hockey game, I always sing it correctly. None of this politically correct nonsense, namby-pamby, wet nappy sort of in everyone. No, in all thy sons command. Thank you very much. Case closed. Moving right along.
Second rant done. All right, cool.
Hey Joe, so what's with this? What's this now? Listen, don't take this the wrong way, but somebody told me your 12-minute video was propaganda. I took a little bit of exception to that because propaganda to me involves falsehoods. I don't recall seeing anything in your video that was false. Did I miss something?
I know who that was.
Well, we'll leave that out of the conversation.
Yeah, he commented the exact same thing, and then funny enough, he deleted the comment, or at least I can't find it anymore. But it's not. I didn't make that video, and I didn't make that video as propaganda. I made it because it's actually been a video.
Sorry, propaganda. There's an alert here. We have a thank you for a dislike. Got a dislike already. Thanks a lot. Appreciate that. It's Joe and I enjoy living rent-free in your head. It's really cool. By the way, for folks who don't know, it doesn't matter if it's all likes or dislikes. It's the number of times that button's pushed that drives viewership. So keep it up. Keep the dislikes coming.
Exactly.
Sorry, Joe.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching two people that you don't like.
Exactly. And wasting your time. And at a minimum, you had to at least go find the stream, click on the link, let it load, burn some of your data just to put the dislike. So thank you so much for that.
I made that video. It's been 4 months in the making because I have been, every time I came across what I found a very interesting headline, I read the article, I would save it. I'd save the link. I'd save the videos. I'd save the different aspects. There's actually a snippet I actually forgot to put into the video, which I regret not putting in, is the news broadcast of them. They were digging 1 million graves.
Oh yeah, that's
I'm
right.
so
I forgot
sorry.
about that.
I'm so sorry I didn't put that in. I only found out afterwards. I was like, oh crap, I forgot that one. But again, like a lot of people were like, yeah, it's some people say it's too long. Like, well, I really couldn't make it any shorter because there's so much things that happen. And that's the thing, like I could have made it. And then some people say it's too short. And then I'm like, well, flip, no one's going to watch half an hour of this. So it was a very difficult balance to find. So I tried to find certain things that happened during the lockdown that I knew people were talking about a lot when it happened. Because everything that was in that video is meant to remind us this happened. We've been dealing with this for 6 months. Some say it's getting better. I don't know about that, but regardless of how you feel about it now, yes, it's level 1. Yes, restrictions are eased. Yes, people aren't really listening. But I feel like, I don't know, since we went on level 1, I felt I could just feel a change in the atmosphere, almost like people are like, I don't give a crap anymore. And almost forgetting about it. Since this whole clicks thing happened, since, other topics have been popping up now and people are talking about that, it's almost like we've forgotten about the abuse that South Africa has undergone in the past 6 months. And also, even worse to me, we've forgotten about the innocent people that died at the hands of people that were supposed to protect us. Collins Kosa to say. Yep. That's why the other night when you were saying no one's talking about it, I was like, I'm talking about it.
Yeah. I meant the mainstream media. And of course, Joe, that was what I've said throughout this whole thing, as they were pissing off 12 million smokers and they were pissing off 15 million or 20 million alcohol drinkers, and they were destroying e-commerce for no justification whatsoever. E-commerce ban. That's actually the one thing that actually contributes to stopping the spread of the virus, you dillweeds. Sorry, I was trying to find the right word to use there without using profanity. But, as all this was happening, and it started back in March 27th or thereabouts when the date was, I've said all along that they're going to piss enough people off that this could lead to them losing in 2021 in municipal elections, all the majorities in the major cities. However, I always caveat that with, the problem is that people forget things pretty quickly. It's what have you done in the last 5 minutes? And so are people going to remember in 2021 how abysmal, how abusive, and how out of control this totalitarian dictatorship of the National Coronavirus Command Council, this disdain for average South Africans, cadres running home and having parties in their home and then getting caught. And now we see finally, although I think it has nothing to do with the coronavirus, it has something to do with the fact that it's trying to marginalize a Zuma fan. But the defense minister, who's been in office for 8 years as defense minister, and she's been a minister for 16 years of one sort or another. And she's actually one of the rookie junior ones who've been around forever in the ANC. But she's getting spanked because she took politicians to Zimbabwe. But that has nothing to do with coronavirus or corruption. It's window dressing. But the point is that people are going to forget. And that's my concern. And that is why I've said to Ronaldo Ros And to all of these people in politics, whether it's Freedom Front Plus, Dr. Corney Mulder, or Ernst von Saal, not that he's in politics, but all these people, I've told them, you must be doing retail politics 365 days a year, 7 days a week, in the townships, in the rural areas, in the suburbs, everywhere. And I hear from none of those people, but I hear people, well, yeah, but I'm a white guy. I can't really go into Kasheta. Well, you know what? Then why aren't there colored and black folks who are Kosa and who are others who are from that area that you recruit to your party? Why not? That's your failing. That's your party's fault. And you need to go out there, because anybody that in their right mind votes for the African National Congress in 2021 should stand in line, get in the queue, and find out where they're offering free lobotomies, because clearly you have a mental defect.
And that's rant number 3.
Are we keeping track?
Yeah, no, well, that's
Hey,
the thing, Chris. Hey, Beth. Yeah, that's the thing, Chris. I was worried, I'll be honest. Like, I remember I asked you to watch the video, and I told you.
You didn't ask me to watch a video, Joe. You're like, hey, did you watch a video? Like 3 minutes later, folks. Did you watch a video? It was like 2 o'clock in the morning.
3 minutes
Did you
later,
watch a video?
Listen.
If by now you don't know that when I talk to you or to Roman or to Ronaldo or to Germ, the embellishment's part of the shtick, you just haven't figured it out.
Yeah, so like that's the thing, and I think, like, I know that I might annoy some people with watching that video, but the thing is, like, again, I don't want people to forget. I am scared. Maybe it's I've seen what this has done to my friends. I've seen what this has done to my family, and we're lucky. The social justice warriors would say we're privileged, but no, we're just lucky. And I know that there's millions of South Africans that are not as lucky, that are suffering, that are unemployed, that have lost businesses.
Businesses have gone
They
under.
can't provide for their families anymore.
Yep.
That's why I made the video, for them. I made the video.
It's brilliant. That's why. I mean, I didn't scream, but when someone told me that they thought it was propaganda, I was like, come on, man. We get propaganda every day. I mean, I tuned in to watch ENCA, and I did a video about Botswana today where they got a guy who's a member of parliament from the opposition, and he basically lies on ENCA, and they never question him. And I'm not, my stupid computers just updated Acrobat. Well, thank you for telling me, Microsoft. Anyway, but yeah, so it just came on my screen. It was really loud, just distracting me. But no, ENCA does this crap all the time. And the government of Botswana, I'm not a huge fan of the President Masisi, but I do like the facts. And so I looked at the whole thing, and it's nonsense. By the way, the person who was supposedly, I don't know if you know the story, in Botswana, who was a member of one of the opposition parties, who was arrested and detained, is what they claim, but apparently she wasn't detained. She was released. She was questioned by the police. She is a self-styled vagina justice activist. No, I misspeak. That's a vagina justice activist, a black African feminist. Okay, that's fine. A peasant. She's proud of being a peasant. She's a Pan-Africanist, a disproven and unsuccessful philosophy. She's a Muslim. Well, good for you. And her hashtag Free Palestine. I'm sure she probably couldn't identify it on a map, would be my guess. But anyway, so that's who I did a video about this morning, and the lies on ENCA. So the point is that we see propaganda every single day in the South African media, and it's just annoying. So I don't have any objection to private citizens coming up with something like that. By the way, Hendo says it's Dodgy Joe's best video ever.
Yes, he's a big fan of it now. He's become a very big fan of me now. Thank you, Hendo. So I was worried that people would see it as propaganda, but I think the only reason why people would see it that way is because of at the end when it says hashtag Futsec ANC. And I think anybody who sees that and doesn't understand that hashtag would see it as propaganda, and I can understand that. But there's a reason why that's a hashtag. And yeah, so I understand why maybe some politicians don't want to share it, because I have asked, and they haven't said no, they just kind of dodge it. But again, like I can't force anyone to share it, but I am on a mission to make sure that as many people share it as possible. And I always encourage people to share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, share it wherever you can, WhatsApp the link to your friends, just get people to talk about it. Especially, I hope it's my gift to South Africa in the sense of, if there was something that needed to represent that hashtag in video form, it's that video. And
Yeah,
if there's any video that should be circulated on a Friday because of hashtag #FootSecANC, it's that video. So even if you only share it on a Friday, that's fine with me. Just don't let South Africa forget, because at the end, and I'm not going to lie, the end always gets me. The part where they talk, there's a part where it just shows farm murders and the protests. And then there's a man that's speaking about farm murders, and then it moves on to gender-based violence. And then it moves on to the president saying a few things, and there's headlines. And then basically a screenshot of "Say their names, Mr. President." That whole journey there always chokes me up, because by the time it gets to that "Say their names, Mr. President," we've forgotten about the innocents that have died. I mean,
well,
it's a crime. It's a crime to forget about it.
Joe, I mean, they forgot about it the moment it happened. I mean, if you remember the Collins Costa situation, it was only a matter of weeks after that with the George Floyd nonsense. And suddenly the ANC is, every Friday is Black Friday. We're going to protest now. We're all in support of Black Lives Matter. What about the 12 Black lives you've directly extinguished through police and military brutality, which you're covering up now? What about those Black lives? We're not going to talk about that, because they're complaining about police brutality. Well, hello, against Black people. We got perfect examples of police brutality against Black people right there in South Africa by the ANC's own modern Stormabteilung, the SA Brown Troopers. And that's a bit of a harsh assessment of SAPS. There are some good cops out there, but the longer that the good cops are silent and don't do anything, the less sympathy they get from me.
Exactly. Speaking about Colin Koza, when I was doing the video, what I found out is that his family hasn't gotten any justice.
No.
The case is so disturbing because the investigating officers only interviewed the soldiers. They didn't interview the family.
Right.
And
of course they absolved the soldiers. They were
found, they just took their word for it.
Yeah,
they're like, oh no, that didn't happen. This is what happened. They warped the story.
Despite the fact there were eyewitnesses, and I think there was actually some footage that was captured. But anyway, yeah.
And that to me is like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I was choking up when I was listening to that, because I'm like, wow. And we just somehow. No one's talking about this.
Yeah,
we're talking about a shampoo ad rather than the most atrocious thing that could possibly happen.
Well, and just for full disclosure, I do not use Tresemme. My hair is not dry. Just thought I'd mention that. This is not Tresemme, just so you know.
I started drinking Tresemme just to rebel, you know.
Oh, wow, that's harsh. I don't recommend that. That's probably not good for your health. I'm just saying, Joe, I'm not a physician.
My breath smells great.
I'm not a physician and I don't play one on Chris White Africa, but I would recommend that you not do that. However, if you are feeling down and you feel a little like you got the Rona coming, I would recommend hydroxychloroquine and zinc, according to French physicians.
I will try that.
That was satire, YouTube. Satire, in case you're unable to distinguish that. By the way, there's no copyright on what I just said there. I know you like to cut in and say, oh, you have copyright all the time. There's nothing being played right now. That was just honest discourse right here. Sorry, Joe. It's important because I'm spending all my time editing my videos for them going back and claiming copyrights on things 4 months ago, which they already said, oh, yes, you do have it. We recognize it. Now they're rescinding that, and I have 100 videos that have to be fixed.
Oh, my word. The video is something I hope people will share, and I did it out of love for South Africa, not hatred. Love for South Africa and its people, and my disdain for ANC. They need to go, and people need to be reminded why. So yeah, other than that, is there anything you want to ask?
No, that's awesome, man. Listen, it's great to hear that love for South Africa. We need more Texan, Egyptians / South Africans to have that kind of love for South Africa. I mean, we know there's hundreds of thousands of you out there.
Yes, we're in abundance. Again, guys, just go watch it, go share it. Something that's very dear to me. I might. Remember, I told you I was working on a video like a few months ago.
I
It was about
do, and then you
Cyril.
went silent on it, and I figured I wouldn't pester you because you actually put time into editing your videos. What happened with that?
I'm thinking about revisiting.
Oh, okay.
Thinking about revisiting. I decided to let it go.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was emotional at the time. I think that was part of it, right?
Yeah, it was emotional at the time, but now I'm like, this video has gotten such a good response that maybe I should think about revisiting uh, revisiting that other video about Cyril. But the problem is with that video, Chris,
Yeah.
I did a lot of research on him, like a lot, and I don't know. It's there's a fine line between providing facts and then looking like you're just trying to disgrace a man.
Yeah, yeah.
And I can't. I'm finding that very difficult to find a balance between.
Well, you want to avoid piling on, sort of thing. I think that's what you're trying to say. You don't want to be piling on. By the way, I'm looking at your channel right now, and are you intentionally trying to get banned? What's the spiel here? I mean, the Kiffness on the 8th of October. Are you just shooting for the germ warfare dustbin of history here? And trust me, Germ is rebooted 2.0, but there's a lot of work involved in that. No, but seriously, I'm going to start taking offense to David and to the Kiffness. They blew me off 3 months ago, telling me they're so busy. Now they're on everybody's channel. Beth, are they on your channel too? Is the Kiffness on there? Before all their parody videos hit the big time, I'm like, hey, people want to hear about these guys. And now that they're big celebrities, they're on everybody's channel but mine. So anyway. All right, gosh. Well,
No,
well done, Joe.
don't.
That's awesome. That's on the 8th of October. You have the Kiffness. Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
hopefully I won't get banned. But it's not. Look, I have no idea why. I mean, we don't know why Germ was banned.
No, I
because
know.
of that.
It's just utter nonsense. But I do have this question. You have this strange looking fellow. It looks like he's some sort of Viking guy. On now, I guess you have a regular segment called Tech Tuesday. So does he come on and offer high speed tech advice like this? They tell you that your computer is it's voice enabled. Hello, computer. Hello, computer. Or
Yeah.
you call for tech support. Have you tried turning it off and turning it back on again?
No, we talk about that's Yanni, and he's in the chats. We talk about tech. We just talk about we had a show went very well. We talked about 3D printing, and he's a very big passionate person about 3D printing. He loves 3D printing. I think he has 2 3D printers. And we spoke about there were some amazing things I didn't know about 3D printing. Like I didn't know that you can make a house. You can 3D print a house. I didn't know that. And so we spoke about that, other aspects of it, making guns, but they're limited, stuff like that. And then I think the next Tuesday, we're going to be talking about The Social Dilemma, which was also a Netflix documentary, very good documentary. And we're going to be talking about a little bit more about the tech side of that, the influences of social media on tech, and benefits, disadvantages, and how he feels about the documentary, because he is a tech supporter. He loves tech, so I want to see what he thinks about this whole documentary that says that maybe we should be less on social media.
Well, I won't argue with that, especially Twitter, but Facebook. But no, I get the position there. But you're gonna have to offer co-host status here, because you've got this regular thing now, not just with him, but also with Marabani. He seems to be on your program a lot, huh?
No,
no.
He's only gonna be on my show once now.
Oh,
it's
okay.
First time.
Maybe.
Sorry. No. He was on talking with Phil Craig.
Okay.
That was a very impromptu one. And then he's on this week. But yeah, I think the only other regular is Dr. Dionne Harley. She has her own show on my channel.
Yeah. Okay. No, I just maybe I'm confusing you with the previously live streaming Germ Warfare channel. That might be what it was.
Yes, he's on Germ quite a lot. Yeah.
Well, he was.
Yeah.
Well, as we laugh at Germ's misfortune.
Exactly. I need to get you on my channel again.
You said that, but I think that for clarity, to explain to folks, in October I accepted to help a colleague out who kind of left someone kind of high and dry and felt guilty. So I asked if I could pick up the pieces. I will be working full-time days like a real job for at least 3 weeks in October, but the dates keep shifting around, so I can't say. But right now, you would ask me like the 12th, and right now it looks like the 12th would be a day that I'll be doing that. I have to ask them for the specific schedule because I suspect that they're going to want me there by like 7:30, 8 o'clock. If it's 8 o'clock, then what I'll probably do for my stream is when I have guests or my Stray Voltage, my 6 p.m. one for you guys and noon here, is I'll shift it to about 6 hours earlier, and I'll do it at 5 or 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, which is going to make for long days. But I don't, the thing is with YouTube is it's not what have you done for me lately, it's what have you done for me today. I was gone for a week, and I was like crickets. I looked at, I went from 3,000 views, 3,500 views per day on my channel to 16 views per day because there was no new content, and that was a little depressing. So I want to make sure that I don't leave people high and dry, so they know to come back. But we can sort it out, or we can wait a little bit longer. But I'm happy to have that conversation sooner, and we can even touch on a little bit here today if you want. But I don't want to steal the thunder because I know that's something you want to talk about. You and I have talked about Trump. We've talked about the U.S. political scene. We've talked about other issues before, so we can hold off on that. But I'm happy to have that conversation and happy to do it anytime. Actually, I haven't been getting asked to go on too many shows lately, so I'm kind of feeling like, last week's laundry here. I don't know.
You're on Ronaldo's show there. You go on there.
Come on, that doesn't count. Ronaldo abuses me, man. He's mean. He's a bully.
Yeah. No, we're going to be talking about, we can let people know that what we're talking about, which is we're going to be talking about the land issue in South Africa, because there's a lot of misinformation, I think, being spewed out by the media and by the social justice warriors and the woke cult. And I was actually in a conversation with someone on social media, and they basically... Is one of the, I don't know, I remember they put out a post about ENCA, and it had these different who owns farmland or something like that, and there was like a white colored and black, and then I was like, these numbers don't seem right to me, and then there was this whole conversation about land, and then I started to give them or post like, hey, have you maybe looked at AfriForum's documentary about land? And then immediately everybody's like, oh, that's racist. They're a racist organization. That's racist stats. And I'm like, and then one guy commented and said, we need a unbiased journalist to look and investigate on the land issue. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, I don't know if he's unbiased. I guess he is, because you call it straight. I'm like, Chris Wyatt. And I didn't say this in the post, but I'm like, you're not from you live in South Africa, fine, fair enough. But you have an invested interest in South Africa, clearly. And if there's anyone that's going to call it straight, it's you, right? You don't have any affiliation with AfriForum or ANC or DA or anything like that.
I can't even get Answer Oates on my channel, but apparently he's agreed to come on now.
So having said that, I was like, well, then you're a journalist. You would be the perfect person to ask, I think. So I told them that I was going to have someone to come onto my channel and talk about the land issue from an unbiased perspective. Mm-hmm. And they were like, cool, we're waiting. So I think they've forgotten about it now. This happened a while ago, but I still want to have the conversation.
Listen, we could, I don't know how your Saturdays look. We could do it this Saturday if you'd like. I mean, because my Saturday's not full. If you want to have it sooner, I don't know if the 12th of October is the date you're wedded to, but the problem I run into is that's when I'm going to be committed. And right now it's so, I mean, sooner the better. If not Saturday, maybe next week sometime. Because I'll
get back to you.
Yeah, let's do that, and then we can get it done sooner rather than later. But the problem is that people, who say that about AfriForum, they're just dishonest. Not the AfriForum, but the people say that. So I mean, for instance, the information comes from the African National Congress run government bureaucracy in South Africa. And the most recent land survey is from 2017. That's the definitive source of information. If people want to take exception to how the government recorded the data, that's fine. But you can't accuse AfriForum because that's simply BS. That's not factual. And you can't accuse me of getting it wrong because I'm relying on government statistics and understanding that some government statistics are wrong. But the bottom line is this. What really irritates me about all this stuff is that, and not to get too far into it, but most black South Africans that want land don't want land. Let me explain. They want like everyone else has. They want a place in suburbia where they have a house, a little plot of land next to it, and they're safe and comfortable. They don't want 100 hectares of farmland in the Karoo. What are they going to do with that? And this ANC ludicrous socialist paradise nonsense of putting 1 million people on farms is retarded. It is brain dead. It is moronic. What else can I say about it? The rest of the world is going the opposite direction, reducing the number of people who are employed in agriculture by a huge percentage. In the U.S., such a small figure is involved in agriculture these days compared to the fact that it used to be 85% of us were engaged in agriculture. But that's a clear sign of an economy that has advanced into the modern age, into the third and fourth industrial revolution. They're going backwards to the freaking 5,000 years ago in Babylon. The ANC is such a virus. It's so sad. It is really sad. And that's rant number 4.
That's actually rant number 6, but okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, before you go on though, but Jansa van Ansburg said that Chris Germ announced a new channel today.
Your mic is off. Yeah, mic is still off.
Oh, jeez. Okay, well, that's probably good, but people don't want to hear what I had to say. No, but you heard it. You heard it. No, but seriously, no, it's just kidding. But yeah, Germ is up with Germ 2.0, which is, I didn't like it. I preferred the one that was suggested by one of my viewers and said Germ 2020. Yeah, but I like the 2020 with the slash through it, but whatever, and because then that goes beyond 2020, which is at our annibus horribus, we can forget 2020, put it in the rearview mirror. But if you do 2020, then you can get the vision thing. I got 2020. Yeah. Or if you put 2,200 people, like what? I can read a license plate at 3 miles away.
Yeah, that's true. I think, speaking about the land thing, I don't know. I'm looking forward to that conversation. I'll get back to you for this Saturday. I'll let you know. I need to look at my diary.
But Joe has a diary? Oh man!
Yeah,
cool.
I'm actually getting booked up a month in advance now.
Oh, that's not a diary. That's a agenda
schedule,
book.
Whatever.
Schedule, yeah. I mean, because the diary's like, dear diary, today Tina said hi to me, and I had such a rush.
It's like you read my diary.
Oh yeah. Well, it's on a blog, man. It's all there.
Yeah. So something else interesting happened today.
There was an earthquake. No, that was the other day.
No, that was the other day. You remember my cancel story, right? My cancel culture story.
Indeed, I do.
Yeah. So YouTube took down the video. Well, actually, I took it down, but they banned the video in South Africa. The video where I told the story of what happened to me. That video, the first one.
Yeah.
They banned it, and get this. The reason why they banned it was for defamation.
Well, the defamation was against you, and you were explaining the defamation that occurred to you. So I don't see how they're protecting you. Obviously, they're not trying to protect you. They're trying to protect the troll that defamed you.
Yep.
Yeah, I've had enough of this horse manure. It is time for the Trump administration to get a Republican-controlled legislature in the fall. After this happens, we get to January, to rescind the protections that were granted under the Clinton administration so that these tech titans are held responsible for their actions. Because as the law stands now, they got away with saying, okay, well, you can't sue us because it's the content creators. We just have the platform.
Yep.
And so anything on Twitter, that's not our responsibility. And so when they were let off the hook for that, then they should be allowing all content unless it's inciting violence or it's hate or it's threatening somebody or it's dangerous or child pornography or something like that. Everything else should be allowed. But no, they hide behind that law, which protects them from being attacked when say, a KKK person puts something up or a Antifa person threatens someone's life. They leave that up and they say, well, no, we can't control it. But then they take down conservative thought. They take down centrist thought even. And I've had enough of this. And it's time to campaign against these tech titans. Oh, Chris Wyatt just got canceled.
Yeah. So look, I see Yanni asking, can you not re-upload as a new video? I could. But after what's happened with Germ, it seems that it doesn't matter. Because, like, for example, what happened with Germ, right? We don't know why his live stream privileges were taken away.
They never explained.
And I've seen the back end of his YouTube channel. He doesn't have any strikes.
Okay, listen, Joe, I wouldn't repeat that. You've seen the back end of somebody's channel. That's really, I'm just saying, that doesn't put you in a favorable light, brother. Okay, folks, pay no attention to what Joe just said. I'm going to delete that from the video later.
Okay. Yeah, so he doesn't have any strikes. He's got no copyright strikes. He's got no, the other strike, I don't know what it's called. And I don't have any strikes either.
Community violation, community standards violation.
That's the one. Yeah, so he doesn't have any strikes, yet they took away the privilege and they won't explain. They say, oh, it's community guidelines. But okay, what about the community guidelines?
Exactly.
So I'm worried that if I now upload a video that was previously taken down due to defamation,
they'll get you for reloading it.
Exactly, and then I might not be able to upload anymore. So
it's a legit concern.
Yeah, so I've decided to just completely take the video down. And look, the video is still available on Facebook. It has down, and it's still available on Twitter. It's a shorter version on Twitter, though. But ironically, it's gotten more views on Facebook and on Twitter than on YouTube.
Well, listen, I mean, although I'm not a fan, Facebook is a powerful platform. Lots of people are on it, billions of people, 1.6 billion or whatever it is. It's a lot of people. It's funny how this stuff works. And it's just, it beggars the imagination about how things are, not for that sort of thing. But like I mentioned, I have Giselle's permission. I've endlessly shown them the permission, put it in there. And rarely, like 10%, they go, okay, you have it. And then they just deny it again for the same song, played at the same point in my stream, and they just deny it. And it's just, it's beyond annoying. Now, that's not entirely YouTube's fault, but it's YouTube's fault for not creating a better mechanism to dispute these things. But no, it's I've gone from when I put it on there, they say, well, there's no block, but you can't earn anything on this, to now I'm getting blocked videos by putting music in there. So I don't know if that's a heightened thing where they're coming after me because it's too many violations, in which there are actually 0 violations. I've never violated. They just simply ignored me. So I get a little nervous about this too. And once I started doing U.S. political videos, I actually got nervous too, because I worry about being silenced, because it's a lot of work to build a community. I mean, going from 2 to 8,300 people is not a simple thing. Unless you happen to get lucky and Donald Trump retweets something you wrote, and then boom, 40,000 people in less than an hour. So I got to get in Donald Trump's Twitter feed. I heard on Chris Wine Africa. Whoa, 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah, like that's the thing, man. Like I'm so, I've been working hard on this YouTube channels, and I don't want to do anything because you don't know. You just don't know. Anything can set the whole thing off. So. I decided, you know what, anyway, my fight is no longer on social media. I think the story has been told. Again, if anybody wants to go see it, thank you, Yanni. He just put the Facebook link there. They can still catch that story there. But yeah, I did a stream earlier today where I told people, look, just go donate to the fundraising thing that I'm doing. I'm almost at the amount that I need.
Oh, cool.
And don't leave her alone. Leave her alone. No one go and email her or contact her or anything like that. My fight is in court. I don't even
remember her name. That's how unimportant she was.
Good. Keep it that way.
Unlike Bianca von Wyk, who just gives me the hives. I mean, look, my skin is crawling. See that right there? It's crawling. Look at that. Man, that
I
woman.
I feel a disturbance in the force.
Yeah, exactly. There's an evil presence in the force. I sense her. Yes. Why are you people upset about horses being killed? What? What? Come on. Thanks. I saw her response on Twitter to the horse killing, and that was because she was denouncing Ronaldo's video. And also, is Queen Bee her, or is that somebody else? That's somebody else, right? Queen Bee is somebody else.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's somebody else. But both of them are the most ridiculous moral equivalency nonsense about the killing of horses. I'm like, are you serious? Oh, my gosh. Clearly, these are people that know nothing about nature, know nothing about horses, and have never done anything other than walk around in their woke bubble. Because if you have anything but anything other than a positive opinion of horses, you've never been. I mean, if you have a negative opinion of horses or you don't care about a horse, you've never been around a horse. They are the most noble creatures. They are unbelievable companions for human beings, and they've helped us get out of the Stone Age. They're amazing creatures. And for what the horrific things that happen at Fairview are beyond comprehension. And it just shows you the casual disregard for life of any sort, not just for human life. And it makes it easy to understand how easy it is for the brutal mutilations and torturings that occur for farmers in South Africa when you see what they do to horses. They have no regard for life, people like this. And anyway, by the way, one arrest. That's all we've heard about. No indication about what happened on the appearance for the court on Tuesday this past week, or if it even occurred. Nothing new.
No, there's nothing that's going to happen. That's the thing. This government just, I don't know. It doesn't care. It just doesn't care.
No, it doesn't care. It doesn't care about black South Africans. And the sooner black South Africans realize that, the better off they'll be.
Yeah. I just want to answer a question that was given by Paulie. He asked how much to go plus minus halfway. I'm halfway there. There's about 17,000 left. No, 16,000, sorry. Round about there. Which, by the way, a lot of the people that did donate before are on your stream, such as Yanni. So thank you, Yanni, for donating. He once donated 5,000 rand to the cause.
As I recall, Herman Ruse also gave a very significant donation as well. That was pretty cool.
5,000.
Where's Herman been? I haven't seen him in ages.
He's around. He's actually very busy now because he's
working.
He's working.
Yeah. So
he's got his farm back.
Okay. So Erica says...
I was chatting to him earlier.
Oh, sorry. Erica says, and she's laughing, one woman upsets so many men. No, not really. The woman that does that is named Hillary Clinton. That's the one that does it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, it's... I don't even want to talk about Queen.
By the way, Hendo said super Karen. No. We don't use that word. We love our Karens. It's super Biancas. It's Biancas and Bernies. That's what we're talking about. Biancas and Bernies.
Calling Bianca Karen is an insult to Karens.
Exactly. Well, and even using it. So I've been trying to rehabilitate the name Karen for a while now. So I just call it Bianca. Sorry for the Biancas out there, but that's your cross to bear for now.
That's perfect.
Erica says horses are magical creatures. No, that's unicorns.
Yeah, so if people don't mind just going and donating something, anything, or even if they just share the link. I had to change the link, obviously, because the video, I took it down. But you can still catch all the information there. And Yanni saying Joe made a Karen joke. Yeah, I did. I don't know. I was just I want to make something clear. Yeah. I'm not angry at the fact that the video got suspended. I am, but what I'm trying to say is I know that she told people to report it and get it taken down. I know because I have screenshots of a message that went around telling people to do so. I am mad because of what YouTube told me, the reason for taking it down. Defamation. It's like I'm telling my story that I'm a victim of defamation. But somehow that video, which was okayed by my lawyer, is defamation.
Now,
how does that even make sense?
It's just abuse of YouTube's. It's abuse of their own community standards by doing that to people. Absolutely. So apparently, I've triggered Reese Fundeveld. She apparently is a big fan of Hillary Clinton, and she's upset that I. Hey, fake news! Fake news! It's time for fake news. It's the fake news segment here on the channel. So today Hillary Clinton was spotted in Central Park. No, not going to happen. Anyway, so who else we got here? Ron says, I hardly dare to chat anymore. Catherine is so strict on me. Oh, come on, Ron. No unicorns, horses will have to do it. That's true. Speaking of which, I put some of those photos up. Did you see anything? I don't know. You've been a pretty busy guy too yourself there, Joe. But did you see any of the videos, what had you name my streams from the Wyoming trip? Because it was awesome.
I saw that you sent me some pictures. It was beautiful, man.
No, I sent you some pictures, but the videos were really cool. I mean, I had videos of the moose crossing the river, and then the salmon,
Nice.
and the 1,000 salmon in the river that were within arm's reach, and nobody could catch one. For 3 days,
No,
they were fly fishing for 3 days. They didn't catch any. This guy and his son and his daughter-in-law with their kid came up. They both dropped their flies, and within 15 minutes, they walked away with 6 huge salmon. One of them was like this long, and so everybody's like, "What the heck?" And so they looked. They said, "Oh, hey, they were using a red lure. They were using a red lure." So they all went around tried to find a red lure, and they made red lures, and they tossed it, and they caught one fish. So finally, after 3 days.
Oh my word. Yeah, it looked like a lot of fun, and also like you did make me miss the States a lot. It reminds me of when I used to go fishing with my dad. Which was always fun.
Tion is being difficult here. He says, "Did I send you the video of the wilderness couple?" People don't believe me. There is no video. There is no video. I'm telling you, there's no video. It's, but I did actually see sex perverts. That was interesting, but. As I was, you probably didn't hear that. So what happened? I'll recount that story. So I was recording those 5-minute videos of Square Top Mountain with framing it behind trees and along the bank, all along this peninsula. I kept walking along, so I'm going to splice them all together at some point. And I looked down and I was, ooh, that looks like fresh elk scat. And I have my tripod with my mobile on it, and I'm walking along with it like this. And I've got my finger right there by the, snap the button. So like this, and the tripod, I'm walking along, and I hear this. I'm like, elk. And I'm creeping up. I'm stalking.
Oh, no.
And I put the camera up like this, and I look over, and I see this woo, bouncing up and down. Oh, okay, sorry. I didn't say anything. I just kind of like turned around and walked away. I think people don't think that I didn't make a movie. I didn't make a movie, honest. That was very awkward. But the really good news is that they didn't hear me, because if she'd have heard me and looked at me with a phone in my hand, oh my goodness, they probably would have sworn that I was taking a video. So anyway, no nature.
And then uploaded it on TikTok. You would have gone viral.
Oh, TikTok. Yes, the courtesy of federal judge Nichols, now allowed to continue to be downloaded here in the United States because he's protecting the constitutional rights of a Chinese Communist Party influenced company based in China. I did a video on that this morning. I was very irritated about that when I saw the results come out last night. Now, that's a judge appointed by Trump. So even his own nominees are undermining the Constitution. Now, of course, that's just my opinion, my interpretation of events. He's a learned judge and appointed to the federal district court. So ostensibly, he knows better than I do. But guess what? He doesn't. Anyway.
Rant number 7.
That was a short one. It doesn't even count. I didn't even exhale. Bill Clinton, I never inhaled.
Yeah. I don't know what to make of this whole TikTok thing, but what I will say is, either way, I think if you would have recorded that video and put it somewhere, it would have just gone viral.
What's Ron von Ryman saying? A moose video we're never going to see. Oh, yeah, I guess because it doesn't exist.
I heard rumors that you were actually hunting for Bigfoot. Is that true?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's true. I heard Bigfoot, but I never saw Bigfoot. But based on the sounds I heard, I'm wondering if Bigfoot is female rather than male. I think that might be a possibility. There were also grizzly. There was a grizzly with a kill on the path. It was not near us. It was a few miles down the road. But this guy came hiking out with his Duck Dynasty outfit on, with a 38 strapped to his pistol belt, and he's got all his hunting stuff on. And we're talking to him about, because you're want to talk to people on the trail out there because there's nobody around. So you see somebody, it's like, hey, how's it going, man? How you doing? And he's like, yeah, no, I just came through back about 5 miles there. There's a grizzly on the trail. He's with a kill, fresh kill. I had to go around him. It took me going up the hill and down and yeah. And then there's a lot of tree fall, and I'm like, oh, dude, thanks, man. Thanks for the report. That's better than the news station. It was awesome.
You heard it here first at the trail.
Tion is saying, an intelligence officer denying the existence of a certain video. Have we heard this before? I can neither confirm nor deny your comment there, Tion.
Which usually means a yes for the people that are watching.
Yeah,
Anytime a government official tells you I can neither confirm nor deny, that's a yes. That's why I know aliens exist, because Chris has admitted it. And no, I'm not one of those aliens.
No, you are a legal alien. You're not an illegal alien.
No. I'm talking about Force, all that stuff. They exist. Come on. They exist.
Well,
Say it.
well, I do hold out the possibility there is life in the oceans under the ice caps of Enceladus. I do. We found the precursors, the amino acids, when we sniffed by with the little probe going by, and we found out that it's in fact there. Not as well as Titan. Titan is likely to hold life. It sounds pretty good. I don't know about Ganymede. It's a little too overcooked, but you never know. I mean, look at those deep ocean vents, those heat vents, the deep smokers there. They have life, so you never know. But I'm pretty confident there's life on Enceladus. And
you see.
I think that the life on Enceladus probably resembles the intelligence capacity of the combined IQ of the African National Congress leadership, which is not very high.
Yeah, but you see, you know so much about space that I find it very difficult to believe that you deny the existence of aliens, like little small beings. I'm sure, man, you've been to Area 51, or you've at least seen certain documentation.
My favorite,
and you can deny all you like, but you were in the Army for how long?
Too long, but 36 and a half years. But my favorite alien is actually Thor from Stargate. That guy's cool. He's really cool.
Stargate.
Yeah, man. Stargate's awesome. SG-1. Thor, man. little dude, Thor and Loki. They were on the ships. They helped them. They were the Asgard. They look just like the dudes in area in Roswell. They looked exactly like those guys. Funny how that works.
I like how Albertin says, "Can we send the ANC to outer space?"
No, that's the plan, folks. I mean, people are upset, but I've already booked a ticket for Julius Malema on the mission to Mars. Unfortunately, I couldn't afford the return ticket, so he gets to stay.
Is it true that South Africa is working on a space thing?
Well, South Africa does have a space program. That's true. They don't have electricity, but they have a space program. I think that the rocket being designed by the scientists in South Africa is akin to the car that Fred and Barney used to ride on the Flintstones.
Yeah, they probably like have cycles, or there's like a.
Well, I mean, look, when science must fall, it falls a long way, and it falls hard in South Africa.
Oh man. I saw an article, I'm pretty sure, of I don't know, the ANC government wanting to build or start a space program of some sort.
No, I was not joking. There actually is a space program in South Africa. That's true. We had an astronaut from South Africa who flew on a U.S. mission. That's true.
Okay. I don't know how that works, but okay.
Not particularly well, if you want to know, but
yeah. So I wanted to ask you, how are things in the States with the whole riots and stuff like that? Is that still a thing?
Oh, it's still a thing, but it's largely a thing that Martin van Dyke is here, and he has a membership. Martin, did you become a member recently? I don't recall seeing that. If you did, I'm sorry to interrupt, Joe, but I always I render hand salute to people who are members, and I didn't see it. So my apologies, Martin, if you became a member, and if I didn't render hand salute. So here you go, proper hand salute. There you go. Thanks for being a member and supporting the channel. It's a real thing. It's a serious problem still. I mean, this is an armed insurrection. It's being organized by domestic terrorist groups like Antifa and waiting for the designation of Black Lives Matter to be considered a domestic terrorist organization. I predict that'll occur within hours of Donald Trump being confirmed as the winner of this election, that he will declare them a domestic terrorist organization, and then the gloves will come off and this nonsense will stop. But it's a serious concern. If you live in a metropolitan area in this country, you better be careful. Did you see the video of the Prius in Hollywood? That was an astounding video in which these people were out making nonsense in the streets, this BLM protester in support of BLM, and this car, they were around it, and so he started moving forward slowly, probably about 5 or 10 kilometers per hour, so he wouldn't hit anybody. People started moving out of his way, and then they bum rushed the side of his car, started beating on his car, so he drove away. As he drove away, they must have been screaming, because we saw this from a helicopter. I don't know if it was a news helicopter or a police helicopter who followed the entire thing from above in Hollywood. And the guy takes off, goes down the street. He doesn't peel out. He goes and he starts to pick up. And then this pickup truck with all these yahoos on it, a huge pickup truck, a big one, comes flying down the street, cuts right in front of him, jams on a brake, so he runs into the back of the pickup truck. They all pile out. They start grabbing, they've got wrenches and stuff. They start beating on his glass, on his windshield, and trying to break in his car to attack him. Another one pins him in from behind another car. Then another one comes on the side. And this poor person, whoever it is just, it's a young white guy, apparently, because we find out later, he must be terrified. And he could have just run over people. I mean, it would have been easy just to hit these people, run over them. That's what they deserved. But no, he tried to find his way out and put himself at greater risk. He finally gets away. and drives down the street, and he goes several blocks away. He pulls over on the side of the road, and up comes an LA police car. The cops jump out of the car, draw their sidearms, and arrest him. His life was in jeopardy. He didn't kill anybody. He didn't injure anybody. He was the victim of assault. He was the victim of terrorism, and he gets arrested. This is so screwed up, and this is what's going on. To me, that is the LAPD being co-opted by the leftists. And now they're being used, the police, for actually what they claim they were all along, for an instrument of oppression. But they're oppressing law-abiding citizens, not the filth and scum who are using an armed insurrection to undermine this country.
Yeah.
Number 7.
Well, I mean, we saw it as well. We saw it as well with that Kyle video that I sent you.
Yeah.
Did you talk about
Oh,
it
yeah,
on the
no,
channel?
I did talk about that. That's a really well, the 11-minute video in which they break down what really happened to this kid. All I got to say is this. The fire discipline of that young kid was so much more impressive than the fire discipline of many major metropolitan area police departments. I mean, that kid, you see cops, they have like 5 or 6 other cops around them, and they unload 40 rounds into a target. And I don't disagree that that's wrong, depending on circumstances. But, they're in mass. They got lots of people. They got body armor on. There's a lot of tension and stuff. This kid has no body armor on. He's running down the street being chased by people coming in every direction from him. He could have just turned around and just sprayed everybody, and that would have stopped the threat, and he could have got away. No, he doesn't shoot anybody until he's been knocked down and beaten on the back of the head. A guy comes up and tries to grab the gun from him, so he shoots him. And another guy comes up, and he tries to do the same thing. He shoots him. A third guy comes up, and he drops and puts his hands up. The kid has the fire discipline to not shoot the jackass. And that guy's alive because of this kid's discipline. And he's charged with these crimes. Hashtag that piece of crap prosecutor needs to be fired, and he needs to be tried for abuse of his office. Because his criminal negligence, and not a single rioter charged, not a single person who attacked him charged with a crime. Yet they have that prima facie evidence to it. And the kid called the police after he shot the first guy, which is precipitated down the road. The guy assaulted him. The guy came charging him, and it was life or death. He shot the guy, and the guy wasn't dead. So what does he do? He stands there calmly while the reporter takes his shirt off and tries to treat him. And he calls. He says, listen, I just shot someone. I had no choice. And then they start coming after him. And he goes, I got to get out of here. They're trying to kill me. And unbelievable discipline. And what do we get? We see, he was underage carrying a rifle. Well, thank God he had a rifle, or he would have been beaten to death in the streets. And there would have been no consequences. There would have been nothing, because he's a white racist supremacist in whites. And who cares about white people? They deserve it. They deserve it. And that's what's going on in this country. It's vile. Nobody deserves this, black or white. But it's happening. And by the way, they're also killing black people. Every damn day they kill black people. The 60-year-old Trump supporter in Milwaukee who was assassinated on his front stoop because he had a Trump sign. He was a known Trump supporter. And they murdered him. Where's the arrest in that case? Where are the arrests in that case? Or the St. Louis cop who served 40 years or something like that, 36 years, something like that, in uniform for St. Louis and then for a local jurisdiction. He goes to the pawn shop to protect the pawn shop, and they murder him. This is just insane. This lawlessness is what we saw in Zimbabwe, and we're seeing in South Africa, and it's out of control. And it is time for law and order, which will always be, well, that's code for racism and discrimination. No, it's code for what it is. Law and order for civil society. Governments exist for one reason primarily, and that's to protect the welfare of their citizens from domestic and foreign threats. And right now, mayors and governors around this country are not protecting citizens, and they're allowing billions of dollars of damage to occur all over a false, fictitious narrative, which is BS and corrosive. Systemic racism, my ass. This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Then tell me why all the black African immigrants who've come here since 1990 are wildly successful. They're not being pulled over by cops. They don't live in ghettos. They don't have this mentality of victimhood that so many Americans have. They came here to succeed, whether they won the lottery and came from Ghana. I got lucky. I get to immigrate to America. Or they came here on an education visa and stayed and did postgraduate work and are successful lawyers, doctors, business owners. Those people are successful. If there was systemic racism, they wouldn't succeed. The systemic racism is the racial preferences that are put in place by the federal government, which are wrong. Anyway, but I can go on for hours. That's number 8.
And do you think? How do you feel about Trump's campaign? Do you think he's going to win? Do you think he's going to win?
Well, I mean, as I said, Yanni's leaving. Have a good night, Yanni. I've been bugging you, Yanni, because we still got to get this Stream Deck thing going here because it's just like a lovely paperweight on my desk. But anyway, so no, but Yanni, I haven't been bugging you because I know you've been moving. Of course, you've been telling me for 5 months you're moving, so I'm just wondering what's actually going to happen there. If you can peel Reese off the wall about the Hillary stuff, she could help you move. But Anyway, but Trump. So January, my position was after the fraudulent impeachment. Once again, as I did on previous streams today, I pulled out the list of high crimes and misdemeanors prepared in the impeachment by the House of Representatives, of which there were none. Not a single crime or high crime or misdemeanor was quoted. Purely political nonsense. So when the fake impeachment came to an end in January, I'm like, ha ha, Trump, 40 to 46 state runaway electoral college win, will win the popular vote by 2 to 4 million, no question about it. That was my position then. And at that time, I said he's likely to win between 25 and 38% of the black vote in this country, which would be quite an achievement for a Republican candidate in the last century. Of course, you go back a century ago, Republicans got 90% of the black vote. But then the great fraudulent socialist, actual socialist, but fraudulent president, King Franklin Roosevelt himself, came in and destroyed the fabric of this country in handouts and undermined and prolonged the Depression by a number of years. This is rant number 9, by the way, midstream. So prolonged the Depression by a number of years, lingering the suffering of Americans, and we saw the early stages of socialism there. But then suddenly the black voters in this country switched trains and were convinced by the propaganda from the very administration that put Japanese Americans in concentration camps that they're the ones that actually cared. And also the same administration that intentionally left Pullman porters out of the Social Security thing, so they had to go to the railroad retirement, intentionally kept them out of it because most employed black folks at that time in actual numbers were either domestic workers, agricultural workers, or they were employed in the train services. And so all of those were excluded from Social Security. Funny that. So the big switch with blacks in America voting for the Democrats took place then. So Trump was going to do really well. But now let's jump forward to the Wuhan coronavirus. And then the left was very successful in falsely portraying Donald Trump as a xenophobe, a racist, and ineffective and ineffectual. When that all flies in the face of the actual facts of what actually happened here in this country. Demonstrably falls in the face of that. So by June, July, I was a little nervous. I was a little concerned. The left was winning with their lies and propaganda. But I think that a lot of people's eyes have woken up. We see when Sleepy Joe comes out of his bunker and he's only wearing a blazer without any shorts and boxer shorts that he's clearly not really all there. And I think a lot of us have empathy for Sleepy Joe, and I suspect that his wife and others ought to be charged with elder abuse because this gentleman really needs some care, and instead he's being foisted out on the public as if he's actually competent or sentient. I don't even know if he's sentient at this point anymore. It's really sad. And I'm not just saying that in a political context. It really is sad. I mean, and it's hilarious because when Donald Trump's first term, they hire prominent psychologists to diagnose Donald Trump's psychosis from a distance. And he's clearly a psychopath and this, that, and the other. Are you serious? And they did the same thing to Reagan in his first term. Reagan is senile in his first term. Are you high? 1987, 88 with Alzheimer's, that would have been a legitimate discussion, but not 1981, 82, which is just BS. Yeah, so I predict Donald Trump will win 35 to 46 states. I really can't make a better prediction than that in Electoral College because it's so difficult with the fraudulent mail-in ballots to predict some of these close border states. And the other thing that's hard to predict is that the polls are just nonsense, and there aren't enough of them anyway right now that are going on, and you really can't trust them. So it's hard to say. So it's a gut feeling, but 35 to 46 states he'll win the Electoral College, and I still predict that Donald Trump in an honest election will win the popular vote by 2 to 4 million. And that's where I'm at. I think that in January, he would have won this with probably more votes than Barack Obama possibly had in the big election where he won all those votes the first time around. But that's not going to be the case anymore. A lot of people aren't going to vote. They're terrified to go to polling stations. There'll be a lot of civil rights abuse and voting rights abuse taking place here. And, of course, the Justice Department and the FBI will be falling down on the job, as they've demonstrated in the greatest single intelligence failure in the 21st century when they failed to identify Antifa and Black Lives Matter as domestic terrorist organizations with coordinated plans. There you go. Number 9.
Okay, let me rephrase the question. Do you what's the atmosphere like? Like when you hang out with friends, like when you were on that holiday, like if you spoke about politics, do you feel that there's a silent majority that is out there that is saying, yeah, I'm going to vote for Trump?
Yeah, no, my expectation is, most of those people were pretty clear that they would vote for Trump. I think one or two might not have voted for Trump, but most that were on that particular thing. But I would say that anecdotally, I stick to this between 5 to 9% of the electorate, those who will vote, not likely voters, but and not registered voters, but those who will vote. 5 to 9% of the electorate are going to vote for Donald Trump. They're not going to tell anybody, or if they're asked, they're just going to say, no, I'm not voting, or I'm going to vote for Biden or something like that, for a lot of reasons. A lot of reasons. The last time around, I think there was a 5% or more who were ashamed. I mean, I don't want to tell anybody I vote for Donald Trump, but I actually like what he had to say. People don't want to do that because they want to be called names. This time, people fear for their lives. I mean, people are not putting up political signs in their yard because they're worried about their house being vandalized or their car being torched, which is happening in places. Here in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, there have been dozens of reports of political signs stolen, and virtually every one of them has been a Republican sign stolen from somebody's yard. Somebody's running around. By the way, people have these in their yard. They pay for those things, or they get them from somebody who actually paid for them. It's not like they're free. They cost a few bucks per sign. And there have been dozens of them stolen. And that's actually a crime. That's against the law. I mean, it's theft, and it's chargeable. And the police have warned people about it, but it's still happening, and nothing is being done about it from what we can see. There's a lot of intimidation going on. We've seen this in past elections. The Voting Rights Act of 1964 is supposed to stop this sort of thing, and that's the role of the Justice Department and the FBI, but they failed miserably, starting with 2008 when Black Panthers stood in front of polling stations in Philadelphia and intimidated elderly Jewish and white voters and chased them away from the polls, standing there with nightsticks, dressed up in paramilitary gear and berets, standing at the entrance to polling stations, intimidating voters. But, of course, the Obama administration under Eric the Useless Holder, the guy who gave guns to drug dealers in Mexico so they killed, DEA agents, piece of crap he is, they said that there's nothing to see here. There was no voting rights violation, no civil rights were violated. Well, I guess only certain people's voting rights matter, when everyone's voting rights should matter, and it should be consistent, but it's not consistent. Anyway, so that was the Obama administration, and it's gotten worse since then. We saw it in the last election, and we're going to see it this time for sure.
Still haven't answered my question.
What was that? What's the question?
I'm trying to get
a sense.
Like, for example, like in South Africa, right?
Yeah.
You can feel that people are angry with the ANC. There's a lot of people that are loud and saying.
Yeah, but they're forgetting already, as you pointed out.
Yeah. And saying like, I saw a post once that said, maybe we shouldn't vote out the ANC, but rather try and tell them how they can do better.
Well, that reminds me of this time we'll get it right. Socialism, this time we'll get it right. No, it's time. How many years? I mean, look, 26 years is the lifetime of a lot of people. Okay.
Before you go on to another rant. Wait, all right. I know. I felt exactly the same way. I get where you're coming from. But what I'm trying to say is on social media, you can feel everyone's making fun of the ANC. No one, there's more of a movement, if I can put it that way, where people are realizing that the ANC needs to go.
Uh-huh.
Now, in your circles, in your family, in your friend circles, and around you in Pennsylvania, do you feel that there's more of a support for Trump? Do you feel more people are talking about, we need to vote for Trump? Or do you feel that there's a very split middle 50-50?
No, I don't see a split at all, but that's artificial because where I live at it's kind of like the Midwest. It's overwhelmingly conservative. I can drive around. I did earlier. I went between Carlisle and where I live to get mail. I saw a Biden sign in somebody's yard, but I know that's a place where somebody rents a farmhouse. That's not the farm owner. But everywhere else I went, I saw Trump signs everywhere, plus the local congressional races, which are the seated people are all Republicans, and they should all win re-election. But so it's difficult to say from here. But when I go other places, which hasn't happened in the past few months, that's why it's hard to gauge this, is I really haven't gone more, other than the trip to Wyoming, which I flew out there, but I haven't really driven more than, say, an hour from where I live at in the last 6 months because of this horse manure and this overreach and this outrageous totalitarian behavior. So it's hard to say. But before that, before they had the lockdown, let's get back before the end of March, when we had from January to the end of March, even with all the effort to smear Donald Trump with COVID-19, which is a Chinese virus, but even all the effort to do that, in all the places I go where there tends to be more crowds that are more to the left, I would say that people were talking very positively about Trump back then. And I can only imagine that since July, things have gotten better and better for Trump when it comes to that. But it's hard to say. It is. But the sense to me is that Trump is going to win an overwhelming reelection. And he's, first off, the power of incumbency can't be denied. I mean, look, Barack Obama was a hideous candidate to run for re-election. But, Mitt Romney was busy licking the soles of his shoes, apologizing for being his opponent, that he didn't even run against Barack Obama. I mean, he basically surrendered to them in debates. Well, no, I'm not going to talk about Benghazi. Why not? Why not? Why? You're not going to talk about the debt. Why not? You're not going to talk about the theft of General Motors and Chrysler from private shareholders, defrauding tens of millions of Americans of their retirement savings. No, we're not going to talk about that. No, thank you so much, Mr. Bain Capital, all the billions you made, but you can't even speak up for small investors. So Barack Obama was a hideous, by all accounts, all historical standards, he should have been wiped off the plate and been a one-term president. I mean, his performance was worse than the supposed poor performance of George Herbert Walker Bush that got to 92 loss. But that was all lies, too. That was what's his name, Carville. It's economy, stupid. It's economy, stupid. No, it's not, you lying sack of crap. It's not the economy. You lied. The recession was over and it was short-lived. It's just that the recovery was anemic. Let's be honest about that. And but George Bush lost that election because he lost white-collar voters, because he reneged. Two reasons. He reneged on the tax. Read my lips. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. No new taxes. And then he raised taxes. But he did it in a good faith basis, and he paid for it. But the other reason he lost is because of the lies. And also, I don't think George Bush wanted to win re-election. If he wanted to win re-election, he wouldn't have waited till 6 weeks before the election to make James Baker his campaign manager. That would have happened months before, and Baker, who's a rock star, would have won that for him. But anyway, no. So I think that Trump has the power of incumbency. That helps. Look at his rallies. Oh my God, he was just here in Harrisburg. I wanted to go the other night, but I didn't really want the Rona, so I decided not to go. But he was here in Harrisburg just the other night, and thousands of people out there, just unbelievable. Chant. I mean, some of it's sycophantic, which is a little concerning, but I mean, it's genuine. We love you, Trump. It's everywhere too. It's even in liberal states that he goes. So we'll see what happens. But the sense to me is that Trump is going to win, and But this is the hardest election ever to call, because we're all prisoners in our domiciles, courtesy of our overreaching totalitarian overlords. And in this state, that's a Democrat governor.
Yeah, I don't know. It's. I hope he wins. I'm really hoping he wins. But I mean, here's the other thing, right? So people or the woke and the lefties and stuff are gonna have a hernia when he wins, right? So
they're gonna have embolisms burst in their temples.
But here's the thing, right? So he gets reelected. Anyone that hates him can have comfort in knowing that he only has 4 more years.
Oh, they can't. They can't wait 4 years. They've been suffering for 4 years immensely. I mean, it's been so difficult having electricity and jobs and prosperity and free speech and still naturalizing over 1 million foreign nationals as American citizens every year. All these things that Donald Trump prevented us from having. Oh wait, no, he made it all possible. Yeah, they're a lost cause. Hugo Kruger says, don't you think that too many conservatives put a wrong bet on Trump? They might end up being disappointed. Well, Hugo, it's a fair question. And famously, I stated back, and as I mentioned earlier in my stream with Laura Lynn Tyler Thompson. I have to make sure I say that straight because it can be a tongue twister, LLTT. But when I had her on earlier, which is, I think, cooler than the notorious RBG, LLTT. But so I had her on earlier on the channel, and I mentioned this, what I said to a lot of evangelicals in particular who are very conservative in this country. And there's also some Democrats who are evangelicals. But I said, listen, guys, this guy's P.T. Barnum. He's a charlatan. He's gonna sell you down the river. I don't buy for a second that he's a conservative when it comes to social issues. I buy that he's concerned about the debt, although he hasn't really addressed it. I buy that he's concerned about national sovereignty and the military. I buy all that. But I don't buy that he's a social conservative. The guy was pro-abortion. He hangs out with some of the most vile leftists in New York City. But what I didn't realize is that I didn't think very hard about the fact that maybe Donald Trump did that because of the circumstance he was in. In order to be successful, he had to give the appearance of something like that. So I didn't allow for that. But what I will say this to answer Hugo's question is that no, he's not going to disappoint conservatives. Oh my goodness, this guy has governed as one of the most conservative presidents in the last century. Ronald Reagan would be the other exception, the two most conservative presidents. One appointment after the other have been rock solid conservatives. In addition to that, his restraint when it comes to foreign policy. Remember, Donald Trump was going to take us to war in North Korea. Oh my God, he called him Little Kim. We're going to war. It's nuclear war. I'm sorry, where's the nuclear war? Where's the war? Nowhere. It never happened. Oh, Donald Trump is going to shut down immigration. Folks, we're still naturalizing 1 million people every year. And if he shut down immigration, that wouldn't be possible because people wouldn't be accruing the time. It's utter nonsense. And they'll say, well, it hasn't been 5 years. And then, there's more to it than that. And a lot of people here more than 5 years and don't apply for their citizenship until long after that. You have people here 20 years, finally apply for citizenship. And that's not one or two of the 800,000 to 1 million people every year. It's a lot of people. So it's just, it's just utter nonsense. Trump has been one of the most conservative presidents in, I won't say U.S. history, but certainly in the last century. And his decisions bear it out. The exceptions of things that are attributed to conservatives like fiscal responsibility, there is none of that. There is none of that. But that's not just Trump. We blame them in the Congress. They're all responsible. Both have a role in this, and both are leading us into debt. Just like the Ottoman Empire, not the Ottoman Empire, but Eastern Roman Empire, Constantinople. They're putting us in the same boat that those guys with the Byzantians. But no, it's just Trump has been very conservative, and much to my chagrin. So I used to get upset. I used to get very upset about his tweets and like, oh God, you just stop doing that. But you know what? I don't care anymore because it's hilarious. It just sets them off. They lose their minds. And you called it Namibia. You called it an asshole country. Yeah, and what's your point? Disprove me. Oh, I'm sorry. You're gonna hold.
He's not PC.
You're gonna hold up the examples of raging success stories around the world that for places that I might have called an asshole country. Please, feel free. Show me the evidence. Yeah.
And do you? Here's another question: the economy, how's it doing now, from your opinion as somebody?
Yeah. The economy contracted severely because of this overreaction to COVID-19. Yes, an overreaction. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. And no, they didn't have all the facts. But you know what? They have no humility. They simply get it wrong over and over again and tell us we're the idiots and we're wrong. We must obey. We must obey. We must obey. And every time they get it wrong. Remember they told us not to wear masks in January and they stand 6 feet apart, knowing full well that a sneeze can travel up to 24 feet. And a cough can travel up to 14 feet. So why are we standing 6 feet apart? Just to give a good optimal range to catch the virus? You morons. Anyway, but the economy took a massive hit. We lost 42 million jobs out of an economy that had about 150, 160 million jobs, something like that. That's insane. The unemployment briefly skyrocketed up well over 10%, is maybe as high as 11 or 15%. But that's all changed. 10 million jobs have been created in the last 6 or 8 weeks. Or jobs have returned, and it's happening. Florida's just lifted all the restrictions. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but I think smarter restrictions could be the case rather than lift them all. But Florida's economy is going back to it, and that's a major part of the economy. Florida, New York, Texas, California play big roles, Illinois. So things are coming back, but we're not going to be at the level we were in January. Probably, I would assess, for another 18 months, 2 years. And that's assuming all the nonsense stops now. But of course, it's not stopping now. We have governments and states and municipalities that are trying to continue this nonsense. But here's my prediction on this, Joe. Donald Trump wins the election. Whatever leftist nonsense happens to try to, to throw shade on the election or stretch it out and have a constitutional crisis. Let's just get past that. He gets inaugurated in January 2021. Wuhan becomes a thing of the past. It failed. Yet another failed attempt to take down Donald Trump. Orange man bad wins, so they move on to the next thing. And who knows what it'll be. Maybe Melania was in cahoots with the Kennedys running rum from the Caribbean. That'll be the next thing coming up, Or maybe it'll be because Amy Coney Barrett adopted black children from Haiti. That racist. Anyway, it'll be something like that. So the Wuhan coronavirus, COVID-19 hysteria will dissipate no matter what. We could probably, I watch you, say January of 2021, we go to a country like France and they have like 10,000 new cases in a day. Nobody will care. Nobody will pay attention. Do you know why? Because they're testing 100,000 people a day now. Gee, no wonder they got 10,000 a day. And that's what's happening in the UK. The second wave. It's not the second wave. It never went away. You people never tested anybody. Now you're testing all these people in record numbers and you're getting record numbers of positives. Shocker, isn't it? Shocker when you actually test everybody. If we tested every person on the planet today and nobody moved for 14 days, that's the only way to eliminate this virus. That's the only way. It's here to stay. Like influenza, it'll come back each year. Mutations. And if you're waiting for a vaccine, you are in for a very long and dreary existence until you pass from this earth. You have to learn to live with the virus. You have to learn to mitigate it, protect the vulnerable, and make the right decisions, not all the wrong decisions, which is what all governments have done.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. Like, I know that South Africa also is in the same boat with testing more now. And they're talking about, oh, there might be a second wave, but we're testing more. So obviously there might be more results. I saw the other day on the government's statistics that only 4 million or 4.5 million were tested in South Africa of a over 60 million population. So it's still quite low. So yeah, I'm hoping that ANC won't, use that narrative of like, oh my word, we're in a second wave and now we need to shut down and go back to level 5. But yeah, I'm hoping I'm wrong with that.
Well, it just flies in the face of common sense. I mean, Africa has come out well. How do we know Africa's come out well? Other than Senegal and South Africa, who has done massive testing? Nobody. I mean, there's not massive testing. There's been lots of people who are sick and people are dying and attributed to the wrong things or not attributed to anything because people just know. I don't buy that for a second. Maria definitely can, huh? Is leaving for the night. Good night, Maria. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate your presence. So Hugo, who came in late, he's kind of a night owl there in France. I guess that's he's keeping the nuclear power plants from not exploding at night or something like that.
Bonsoir.
Yeah, but he doesn't speak French, even though he lives in France.
Okay.
No, but seriously, so Hugo says Trump's taxes came out today, or rather his lack of paying taxes. Well, let me put that in context from my earlier stream today, Hugo. Criminal activity occurred with the New York Times disclosing personally identifiable information illegally about Donald Trump's tax returns. That's not legal. Someone should be prosecuted for that. And that's not journalism, by the way. That is not something that you can release. You can't do that sort of thing. There are actually laws against that. So they should be investigated for that, first off. Second, that information is not a surprise. Donald Trump was forced to disclose all of his tax records to the Mueller investigation. Remember the fake Mueller investigation on the fake Russia collusion that ran on for years and consumed $35 million at a minimum? All of his tax records were known. That's probably how they wound up in the New York Times hands, given the behavior of the people involved in that case, because they couldn't find anything on Donald Trump. So are you scratching something? Or what's going on there?
Sorry.
Oh, no, I heard, it's like, I was like a scratching here. ICE is here with a brand new invention. Anyway, so so Hugo, I'm not surprised. So the news is that Donald Trump didn't pay taxes 10 last 15 years. Oh, well, folks, let me remind everybody and refresh your memory. In 2015, when Donald Trump came down that big, ridiculous escalator in his massive Trump Plaza there, tower there in Manhattan, right around the corner from Central Park. He started his campaign and he came out and he said, when he's asked about the tax system, he said the tax system is broken. He says it's not right. He says, people can deduct things and you don't pay taxes and this, that, and the other, and it needs to be reformed. Well, he was right, and he's living proof of it. And he made the point. And so if he didn't pay taxes at 10 of the last 15 years, I haven't seen his tax returns, but I'm going to guess that he was able to write off tens of millions of dollars worth of income because of losses in one place or another. And then basically, and his real wealth is tied up in assets that accrue value, not in cash and not in income, which is what a lot of developers, you build a property, you don't have cash because you're cash poor because you finance it and then you make money off of it. And that's, so he's able to write off because he loses. So it's not a shocker to me, Hugo. In fact, I think if anything, people should go, Trump was right. And here's the proof right there. But also I think that whoever discloses tax returns needs to be investigated and potentially go to jail for the crimes they've committed. If someone exposed my tax returns, I would take just as much umbrage. I don't want to know my neighbor's tax returns. That's his private business. It's bad enough the government collects that data to begin with. It's none of their damn business. The income tax is unconstitutional in my mind. Yes, we had a constitutional amendment which approved it, but that amendment should be rescinded and we should get rid of the income tax. Well, no, it's never going to happen because it's 1/3 of the government's budget. They get over $1.8 trillion a year from fleecing our pockets after they've already fleeced our employers for taxes. And every time we take that money and save it, they fleece us for another income. It's just endless. They take money out of our pockets. But yeah, Hugo, I'm not surprised by Trump. And somebody said, well, Donald Trump's an idiot. He's not the businessman they made him out to be because he's losing money. He lost $48 million in 2018. 2018. Hello, McFly? The dude was president. He's not running his businesses. Someone else is doing it. So they're the ones that lost $48 million in 2018, not Donald Trump. Come on, wake up. Smell the coffee. It's not that difficult. It smells like coffee. Anyway.
Also, like, I think, like, because Donald owns so many businesses and stuff like that. Like, I know a few guys that own businesses and work in millions. You know, not thousands, millions. Like the other day, a friend of, well,
hey Joe, why don't you call those guys up about your legal fund?
It's a family member, and
even more so.
He's very okay. I shouldn't say too much, but it's a family member. Yeah, it's a family member, and he talks in millions. But that's the thing, and I learned something from talking to him. When someone of that earns so much money, right? They say, "Oh, I lost," like, for example, Trump lost 48 million. Trust me, he's earning way more than that. That loss is probably a drop in the ocean to what he actually earns. So when people like lose their minds, oh, but he lost 48 million. Trust me, he's making it back. Well, he's not.
Let me just give you an example of how that happens. I mean, if it's the business and your business is property and your income is based on rents, and you build a property and it goes under, or you have a capital loss on it, and you can write off $6 million that year because you're allowed to do that from a business. Now, you can't do it on a personal level. You're only allowed to take $3,000 in losses off your tax returns. It doesn't really help individuals. But if Trump's income is based off that, then you write off $6 million, and if the income of the company is $1 million, then you're not liable for any taxes. It's as simple as that. And that's the way the system is set up. That's why the system is so complicated, so I don't want to say corrupt, but it's so unfair. And it's because this progressive tax system, and then for the wealthy who have influence, they're able to set up a system where they can avoid taxation or get taxed at different rates. So a lot of people are proponents of a flat tax or a fair tax. The flat tax I prefer. I think that all Americans, regardless of their income level, should be paying 10% income tax. That's not fair to the poor. Well, we can make an exemption below a certain level for people who fall below the poverty line, things like that. But by and large, all Americans should be paying the same. Why should someone pay a higher tax rate than I do, or why should I pay a higher tax? I'm no different than them. I had just the same opportunity as them. Oh no, you're privileged, dude. I'm not privileged. I have a freaking toilet, no electricity. I got here because of my hard work and my effort, and it didn't take a freaking village, Hillary. It took my determination. Anyway, so it's just it drives me nuts because it doesn't treat people the same. Well, it's not fair. These people are wealthy. So what? Stop your envy about people who are wealthy. I want to be wealthy. I think it's cool. Now, did Bill Gates get his wealth legitimately? No, he got it legally, but not legitimately. What they did to become wealthy at Microsoft was monopolistic. It was wrong, and they got away with it. And so I think it was morally wrong. But they became wealthy, and then they saddled us with their horrible operating systems, which is what I'm sitting on here today.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. My point is, like, wealthy people don't operate the same way other people do, obviously. And when they talk about a loss, it's people harp like, yeah, but you lose so much money. He's a terrible businessman. Again, if they lose a certain amount of money, even if it's a lot, trust me, they're making it back, and they're making it back tenfold. But people want to harp on the loss because it makes them look bad. Makes the individual that is rich looks bad. Oh, he can't do business. Trump's built, take Trump, for example. Trump's built a huge empire over the years. And I can't, it's funny because, like, even someone told me, like, back in the day in rappers used to rap before he was president. They used to rap about being like Trump.
Yeah.
Like, they were like,
well, it's like calling him a racist when all the people hung out with were prominent black New Yorkers. That's who he hung out with, in social circles and in towns and everything. It's utter nonsense. So Judge Doom's jury of sin says, rich man's trunk is full of sweat and blood of his brothers and sisters who work in the mud. Rich girl, she wants pearls the size of rich man's world, rocks the size of footballs, but no love for the boys and girls. I don't know if you're just doing lyrics from a song or something like that, or you're just having fun there. But let me just address the first portion there. Rich man's trunk is full of sweat and blood of his brothers and sisters who work in the mud. That's nonsense. The people who worked at Microsoft in the early stages, the first 3 to 4 years, they're all tens of millionaires, if not more. They created more wealth for all the people who got equity stakes in the company early, and that was all the employees because they all took the same risk. And Gates and Allen handed out equity stakes, and all these people are fabulously wealthy. Now, the other piece of this too is that people complain about inherited wealth. Listen, every year fortunes are squandered all around the world by people having inherited wealth. Yes, some families have it for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 centuries going back. Good on them. But it's difficult to maintain wealth when the state confiscates it every time, especially when someone passes away. But I don't begrudge people make wealth. I mean, unless you're talking about someone who gets it illegitimately. But as I said, Bill Gates, in my view, got it immorally, but not illegitimately. He followed the rules. He followed the law. Maybe we should have changed the law. We should have been looking at people preying on others with monopolistic practices. But these people have created so much wealth for so many people on the planet, not just for themselves, and they created jobs for people. And this blood and sweat and toil of the poor, that's nonsense. Everyone should have the same opportunity, and you don't in South Africa because the ANC's destroyed the education system, which was bad to begin with for most South Africans. Now it's abysmal for everybody. But in other countries where people have the same opportunity to go to school, you can succeed or fail on your own merits. Now that's not the case in every country, but I just don't buy the story that the wealthy, it's like the Ingvar family that started IKEA. So they're incredibly wealthy. And look at the hundreds of thousands of jobs that they've created that exist over decades, and people whose families survive off that and live and thrive off that, not to mention shareholders of the company, not to mention the investment, all the places that make all the crappy furniture that IKEA sells in Asia and ship it around the world. And we all buy it because it's Swedish. It looks so cool. And so, it's a whole ecosystem, and they're wealthy because of their ideas and their drive and their intuition and their risk that they took. And I don't begrudge people that. I'd love to have some of that wealth, but I don't feel I'm entitled to it. I'm not owed that. No one owes me jack. The only thing I'm owed is nothing, except a fair chance by the state. So anyway, it just drives me nuts.
No, well, that's the thing. I think a lot of people nowadays have lost that drive and motivation to work hard and pursue the American dream and make something. Now it's like give me. And the world doesn't work like that. And then they argue like, yeah, but it's the capitalist society and way that doesn't allow for us to grow and have opportunity. No, it's the governments that definitely prevent people from having equal opportunity. And that's my opinion.
Well, let me just give you an example right there. I mean, South Africa is in desperate need of electricity. Why can't South Africans have electricity? Because South Africa isn't capable of having high transmission power lines or power plants, either from alternative sources of energy or from existing coal. No. South Africa has a wealth of coal. And they have rail lines to deliver the coal to you. So you can build a coal-fired power plant. Yes, there's a huge capital outlay, $600, $800 million, $1 billion. Sure, but you can get investors to do that. But why can't you do that? Because you can't. It's illegal. Because the government has a monopoly with Eskom, and it's poorly run, and it's staffed full of hacks who don't know what they're doing, and they have not invested capital into the business, which is a capital-intensive business. You must spend money to renew, replenish, replace, rebuild every single year, just like highways. You can't wait till 30 years and go, all our highways fell apart, because you'll never fix it. And Eskom is a disaster, and because the ANC prohibits other people from competing in the power space, South Africans suffer. And not only do they suffer with blackouts and load shedding, but they also suffer because the economy is highly inefficient as a consequence of all this nonsense. And the knock-on effect just keeps going. And this is all because the market is not allowed to flourish. If the market was allowed to flourish, there would be investors in South Africa. I would invest in power in South Africa because I know there's people desperate to buy it, and they would pay for it. And you know what? I might get away with raising the price initially, but guess what? Someone else is going to come along, Chinese or Brit or French, and they're going to build another power plant, and they're going to offer their power and electricity at a competitive price. And guess what I'm going to have to do? Lower mine and improve the quality of my service and reliability, or I'm going to go out of business. And that's how capitalism works. It's not a political system. It's an economic system, and it works brilliantly. Supply and demand, and the more competition you have, the better end product you have for consumers, whether it's electricity or it's healthcare or it's jeans, whatever it is. And the ANC, it just doesn't know what they're doing. They're out of their element. The Minister of No Trade, Ibrahim Patel, what a joke. What an absolute joke that guy is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I saw that headline. I included it in the video. He conceded that the way he handled the lockdown was poor, and I was like, And people just forget about this stuff. Like, oh no, we must praise the ANC because of their swift action, and they're handling this gracefully. I'm like,
Gracefully.
wow.
Well, I understand the graceful part because I thought she was quite eloquent. You see, when people zaw, they put the saliva on the paper. And when people zaw, they share that zaw.
Have you noticed we haven't heard much from her?
No,
like she's been very quiet.
Disappeared. Which leads me more to the question: is Cyril Ramaphosa gained the upper hand for the moment? And with the sidelining of the Minister of Defense, a Zuma appointee, her ex-husband, I start to wonder what's going on here. But who knows? The infighting the ANC, the one thing the ANC can do is keep quiet about their internal fighting. They're very good about that. They can't keep quiet on anything else, but they keep quiet about that. It's fascinating. There's a comment here from Hugo Kruger saying that in most Western countries, large infrastructure projects are funded by pension funds. That's partially true, but also a lot of large construction companies fund things through bond issues, corporate bonds. And also cities that buy these things, and municipalities and counties and states issue bonds, and so that pays for it. That's a big part of it, and that's that. Some of those bonds are bought by pension funds, but pension funds are huge in the states. And you get CalPERS, the California pension system, which is massive. But a lot of this is fictitious anyway, because most of our pension funds are underfunded. General Motors was one of the most egregious ones, and that was one of the reasons why it was in such trouble, because their pension fund was so underfunded. Yep. So Robert has left. I guess people are starting to drop off. It is almost 11:30 in South Africa. So anyway.
Yeah, I've got to start heading off as well.
All right, cool. So let's talk. Let me know about Saturday or next week about if we can set up a time to if you want to talk the land issue, and we'll bring up the land survey 2017, and I'll do my best to dispel the fairy tales about land in South Africa. But I'll give people a preview real quick. Conquest is a legitimate means of land acquisition. Warfare is a legitimate means of political discourse. Is it a preferred one? Not in my book. Is it a happy one? No. But warfare is a recognized, legitimate means of political discourse. It's an unfortunate one. So with that in mind, when I talk about land, keep that in mind.
Okay. Well, Chris, before I go, I just want to say to people, please share that video that I made. Remember, at least on Friday, to share it. And thank you, Chris, for having me. I enjoyed talking to you again, and let's do it again soon. And besides land, I mean, like this, just have a general chat. It was a lot of fun.
But there's the link once again to your video. I put it up again. So
Thank you.
Please, folks, you're welcome. Please check it out. So really, it's an awesome video. Great editing, Joe. Although I think I mentioned to you that some of the stuff, at least on my screen, maybe because it wasn't, maybe on the mobile it comes out great, but it's stretched on my screen. So a couple of the things early in the video were kind of grainy, but I think that was the source. It really had nothing to do with what you're doing. And it's okay that you didn't include that piece that you talked about the million graves, because that was kind of depressing, and also another boondoggle. But no, it was a very powerful video. So well done. Congratulations. As Hendo said, it was, he thinks it's your best video ever. I think it's pretty darn good. I was impressed by it. I was kind of envious that I didn't have those skills to edit that way. That's really well done with the music. I don't know if you got a copyright strike on the music, but it's pretty.
No, it's royalty free.
Oh,
so there
cool.
shouldn't be
Brilliant.
shouldn't be any copyright strikes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, folks, that's Joe Emilio, the American/South African comedian who's based in Western Cape. And where men are men and sheep are nervous. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the Northern Cape, not the Western Cape. But anyway, also land of by the way, there was no tsunami. You guys didn't get any big waves from that earthquake, did you? It was too far away.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, no, thank goodness. I saw
the last thing we need.
Yeah. There's been enough problems in South Africa without a tsunami. That'd be the last thing you need. But anyway, well, Joe, thanks a lot. Good to see you, and good luck. I see your channel still growing. Folks, if you don't know Joe Emilio's channel, go check it out. Let me see if I have his channel up here. Yeah, here it is. Let me get over there, and I'll just put that link in very quickly. Assuming my thing. Here we go.
Thanks, Ron. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Everyone is saying thanks. Rita, Erica, Judge, Doom's Jury of Sin. That's a flippin' awesome name.
That's it's also a mouthful, man.
Yeah.
Try doing that after you've been streaming for an hour and a half. Like, Judge Dredd? What, Judge Dredd?
Yeah, rant number 15. Yeah, I lost count after the 7th one.
You guys, you're like Ronaldo. You're just it's just elder abuse. You guys are abusing me again. Oh, by the way,
Just,
Joe? Before you go, did you catch on Ronaldo's stream when Steve Hofmeyer was on there that
yes.
the whole thing about being his son and he says Ronaldo's got that hat on and Steve says take the hat off and Ronaldo takes it off and Ronaldo's like thinking like Steve's going to acknowledge him. He does all this primps and without missing a beat, Steve says, "No, you couldn't possibly be one of my children. All my children are beautiful." That was awesome. That was awesome. Anyway, all right.
It was great.
All right, Joe. Have a good night, man. Thanks for coming on. It was a lot of fun, as always. And good luck with that video. I hope it gets a lot of viewership. I'll keep promoting it because I'm really impressed with it. And good luck growing your channel. And let me know about the land thing when we're going to talk about it, okay?
Will do.
All right, folks. That's Joe Emilio. He's going to go in the waiting room, and I'm going to come back to all participants. There we go. All right, there you go. Thanks a lot, Joe Emilio. Really appreciate it. Bye, donkey. Que a la boa. Joe Emilio. Thank you so much for being on the program. And folks, I'm getting a bit knackered here. It's been a long day. So I had to scramble to get Laura Lynn Tyler Thompson. Fantastic to have her on. If you missed that stream, it was about a 25, 30-minute stream. Please go back and watch that stream. She's fantastic. She's quite the force of nature. Social conservative Christian from Vancouver, Canada, where she has her own television program. She has a big social media presence, and she was a former co-host of the 700 Club in Canada. She was amazing. By the way, she invited me to come on her program, so I'm kind of excited about that. We'll see when that happens. That'll be kind of cool, folks. Thanks a lot for coming on. Joe just offered up his thanks. You're most welcome, Joe. Always a pleasure to have Joe on there. Joe and I get along really well because he's actually an American. I know, in case you guys don't know, he's an American. But anyway, so folks, thanks a lot. Have a good night, and we'll catch you here tomorrow. I have Joe Stong, who is from Wyoming Catholic College, and we'll be talking about the Special Operations Forces Veterans Trip to Wyoming, which I participated in as a cadre member. And Joe is the inspiration and the driving force behind making it happen. So, folks, really excited to touch base and meet with Joe Stong tomorrow. So join us for that. That will be my noontime lecture tomorrow on Chris White Africa, noon Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. in Botswana, South Africa, 5 p.m. in Windhoek, London, and Abuja. Folks, until tomorrow, God bless. Have a good night. I'm going to go get something to eat before my head explodes. It's been a long day. And thank you guys for coming on. Another Joe. I thought I was the only Joe. No, you're not the only Joe. Joe Stong, who is a fantastic guy. You'll find him be quite interesting. He's a devout Catholic. He'll be on the channel tomorrow, and we'll talk to him. All right, folks, that's it for tonight. God bless. We'll catch you tomorrow here on Chris White Africa. Go back and watch my Botswana video. Watch the live stream with Laura Lynn Tyler Thompson. Go watch Joe Emilio's video that he did, the 12-minute video on what's been happening during the lockdown so people don't forget about the lockdown. And we'll see you tomorrow here on Chris White Africa. Don't forget Wednesday, Eric Bello, the actor from Good Girls and from The Walking Dead, as well as MacGyver, will be on the channel. Fantastic guest. We'll have him. Thursday's Mimi Kalinda. Friday is Wyatt Dutoy. And that's the week until Saturday, which we're still working out. Thanks a lot for tuning in, folks. God bless, and we'll see you later. Have a leka nant, and we'll see you tomorrow, folks. Cool. Whoops, I'm still up. Look at that.